Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. My name is Romain Tranchant. I'm the chair of the Innovation Committee for iMasons, and it is my pleasure to lead this opening call of 2026, where we're going to unpack all of the exciting and interesting activities we're going to have actually on the Innovation Committee this year. This is something that is being refined at the moment with all of the leaders that we've got engaged. And so, but today, if everything goes well and everything goes according to plan, you should be able to understand, one, what the Innovation Committee has got in store for you this year, and two, how you can get engaged within the iMason Innovation Committee's activities. Before we get any further, this is an iMasons call, so let's go through a couple of ground rules. First of all, what you will see is that in the corner you will have a chat function. So feel free to use it. Don't feel free to abuse it, but the chat function is there for you to say hi to everybody else. Ask all of your questions. This is a members call. This is not me speaking to you. This is you asking about how the committee is going to function and so on. So if there is anything that you want to ask, go and use that function there. We will have the privilege of having Cyre Quinones on the call in a minute with us for a fireside chat. I know she hasn't been long in post yet, but it will be interesting to see what her take has been so far after only 3 or 4 weeks in the job, and also give us a few pointers as to the position of innovation within the wider iMasons community. So the last point is, by the end of it, we'll share with you how to get engaged. This is all this is about, right? Everything is about structure. You'll see what we've changed. You'll see what we're actually doing. But most importantly, I want you to take away at the end the way to get engaged. And you'll see we've got something quite special for you in store, which we're hopeful is going to be helping you quite a lot. So let's get started. First of all, this is it. 2026 is here. We've had a fantastic 2025. Loads of activities. Podcast has been launched. We've done a lot of events in certain conferences, like our Dragon Den series, our innovation series. We've had loads of speakers come in and explain their viewpoints in terms of what has been going on. But it's time for a change. Not a radical change. It's more of the same, bigger, more interesting, more specific to the industry problems we're trying to solve, and you'll see that in just a minute. So for the agenda, we're going to talk about what changed. We're going to present to you the 12 months calendar. Again, this is something that we've listened and learned, so we'll go through 12 months of activities in one go. We'll bring Cyre to actually, sorry, it says Rudolph on the slide, but Rudolph was there this morning. Cyre is coming with us this afternoon for a fireside chat. We'll go through the new working groups. We'll go through the next 2 months worth of events so that you can start planning already, and we'll tell you how to get involved. As usual, just carry on using the chat feature on the side. I'm monitoring it as we speak, so that we can go and answer any pressing questions you may have. So what changed? Well, first of all, we've listened. We've listened because that's quite important. You've fed back to us 3 important things. The first thing is, I want to be able to plan how I can get engaged far in advance. So we thought, well, the best thing we can do is to bring you 12 months worth of activities up front at once, so that you know literally a year in advance the dates, the hours, the content of the meetings, the agendas, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into, and you'll know how you can participate and what you'll get out of it. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. We're moving from one working group, our leadership team, that has been tremendous in helping us manage all of the resources and ensure that the committee continues to produce tremendous value for everybody. And now we're extending that to 2 other working groups, and that will display in a minute what those working groups are, and you can figure out if this is something that you want to get involved in. And the last one, whilst we are currently in a time zone that's very friendly to the US, as some of the activities will move across to time zones that's more akin to Europe and APAC. We are, after all, a global organization, and we want to make sure everybody has got their turn, their say, and their and the ability to actually come and interact with all of us. So this is it, 2026, a global, coordinated, a year-long engine for innovations. And I'm not the engine, you are. So we're really hopeful that you're going to be able to come in and take advantage of everything that we've got lined up for you. One of the things that is central to the way we do things this year compared to last year is that we have actually planned everything we could as far in advance as we could. So 4 categories of events are going to be happening throughout the year. The members updates, this is what this call is about. We've got 4 planned across the year. We've got working groups calls, regular calls where you'll get to actually come and have inputs, online open calls, which is where people come and speak and show and debates, more public calls, and then some conferences where we're going to be doing like more innovation specific things. We've arranged it in a way that we know that if you really wanted to do everything and cover every call because you see value into doing this, you can. The working groups are going to work on Mondays and Wednesdays. And so they're going to be either APAC time or US time. Europe's have got their picks. It's either morning or afternoon. So that's quite good for them. The online open calls are always going to be on Tuesdays. So that way we know that Tuesday is always going to be reserved for an online open call. So generally presenters and debates. The conferences will happen as and when the conferences happens, and the member updates are still going to be there on Tuesdays too. You've heard me mention Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That leaves us Thursday. Thursdays we're going to reserve for any ad hoc activities that we've got planned, and we still have space for panels and space for workshops and so on, but at least we've got reserved time for those extra things that some of the working groups may want to do. So that's it, a full year of planning, one at a time. And all of this already represented on the iMasons calendar. I will share with you the link at the end of the call on how to go and register for all the events. And everything is also represented in the spreadsheet that had all of the event across the year, which was a fantastic job that was done by the iMasons team internally to make sure that you have everything in one place. So this is it. The opening of 2026, some of the changes, the 12 months calendar. And without further ado, and before we go into all the details of all the activities we're going to do, I would love to actually bring Cyre into the call for a quick fireside chat.
Hello.
Hi, Cyre, how are you?
I'm well, Romain. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the call, and such a privilege. I know you've been already drinking for the fire hose, as we say, right? So meeting everybody. You were at PTC last week. You've literally just come back. Hopefully the travel was safe and sound. But yeah, thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Romain. Yeah, I just got in the house about 2.5 hours ago, and I may have caught a little something, so pardon my funky voice here, but it's been an exciting, 22 days in the role, listening to a lot of new members and existing members while I was at PTC, spending some time with the team, and then just getting to work with you all in a different capacity now. So thanks.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And we've already said it's been a short time, right? But you've already had, first of all, before you joined in, you already had a lot of exposure to iMasons. you're now getting to grasp with the other side, which is all the delivery side of what iMasons does for its community. What stood out to you most about the position iMasons occupies in the industry? Know that you've seen both sides.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing that stood out to me is that we are one of the very few organizations that really has built relationships and such a genuine respect in the industry based on trust, and trust really gets formed through vulnerability and through having some of those tough conversations and strategizing on how to solve those problems. The innovation committee being a perfect example of where that trust gets built and where some of those vulnerable, challenging conversations take place so that we can move forward. We're really that connective tissue between the owners, operators, engineers, the vendors, and everyone else in the digital ecosystem, really trying to craft that shared vision for the future. So that's what's really stood out to me within these first kind of 22-ish days.
And that's you're absolutely right to talk about trust here, and we definitely are accelerating that build. We're gonna build the opportunities for many people to actually come and join everything that we've been doing so far. What I'd love to get from you is there's a lot of things that can be done. That industry is exploding at the moment. There is many areas that are growing, but where do you see the greatest opportunity for iMasons to maybe create influence and value across the digital infrastructure landscape?
Yeah, I think the biggest opportunity for all of us today is really connecting the people in the industry to the problems that we are trying to solve. So whether that be focused on the talent gaps that we're experiencing today, or solving problems in sustainability and how we scale, or even the social impact side of things, it's really serving as that platform to connect and give people the opportunity to work on those things and have a tangible outcome that comes from those conversations, right? We kind of get in many rooms together, but sometimes in a short amount of time, it's hard to exact the impact and the defined outcome that we want to see. And that's where communities like yours, the social accord groups, the Power Consortium, that's where the magic actually happens, is when the companies come to table and bring the talent that wants to see those initiatives come to fruition. So that's part of that unique opportunity. I also think that, the biggest influence doesn't come from mandates. It really comes from the community members that are really driving the momentum behind that influence that we want to see. So I think that's the opportunity we have today, is as a community to really keep that ball moving forward and actually speed it up, right? And we see that through your Dragon's Den initiative, for example, is a really awesome way to speed up innovation. And really get ahead of these problems and influence the communities, the policymakers, and everyone that's going to be involved in the shared vision of the future.
I like you pinpointing this sort of things. It's been a great example of how we innovated in the way we did innovation in iMasons, right? It's one of the generally we understand like how the community gets together. Innovations have got, as you know, it's a very special place for me, as I've been part of it for a long while, but I understand it hasn't been maybe as visible and as for everyone, at least for everyone in our community. You've now taken a closer interest to what we're doing, which is also fairly new for you. What do you think makes it different from how innovation is usually treated across the industry?
Yeah, I love this question. I think in my experience with you, Romain, and the innovation groups, is your group is not driven by a marketing cycle or by a product roadmap, right? We're not driven by trying to figure out how we're going to one up the competition with the next offering, but it's really driven by the operational challenges that the industry as a whole is experiencing. Like, what are the problems that keep us awake at night that we want to find practical solutions for? And working together for that operational outcome focused approach to bring those ideas to fruition, to accelerate, startup companies and small businesses that really have something have taken the risk to solve those challenges and have something that the market should really get behind to accelerate and amplify.
We know, and we've had many speakers last year and actually the years before that have talked about, where innovations gets generated, and we know it's about collaborations. We know it's about exchange of ideas and thought leadership. What do you think makes iMasons like a credible platform to what actually generate and convene the conversations that generates that innovation?
I think it's the people that you invite to the room, right? It's giving that opportunity for the individuals that are actually involved in designing, operating, and scaling the infrastructure to work together on these things on a neutral platform where they're not working kind of through the lenses of their organization, but removing kind of the blinders that sometimes our companies' objectives give us and working with that broader perspective on these issues. I also think that it's having a conversation that is shaped by all of these different companies and people's experiences, and not just by the position that they hold or the brand that they bring to the table, right? Collective experience, collective knowledge, collective struggles, and the vulnerability, and kind of locking arms together and bringing the next thing to fruition.
I guess it's fair to say that up until January, like beginning of January, we're still in January actually. You weren't that close to the innovation committee. I won't hold it against you. Don't worry. It's all good. Many people are in your shoes. Many people are in your shoes. But now that you've got a bit closer to what we do, especially looking at the programs and the different things, what was the one thing that you wished you would have known before actually stepping into the role of CEO, and you maybe wish other people would know as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that shocked me and surprised me is really how much rigor and diversity of perspective and discipline goes into the innovation committee's work. Right, you guys, you are a fearless leader, and the team behind you also is no stranger to taking risks and no stranger to those crazy conversations where you throw ideas against the wall. And I think you guys really create a practical approach to innovation that is very unique. So I definitely, like you said, didn't have exposure to that before, but I think that is something so unique that the Innovation Committee brings to the table, and that I think more people should know about, that this is not just a think tank producing random ideas, but that it's really working together on focused efforts that are bringing about tangible change that we're feeling in the industry.
No, I really appreciate that. And just a message for everybody listening to us, if they want to put, I've just seen one question about sharing the recording, which means it's very interesting. So that's great. And we will be sharing that recording afterward, alongside with the interview that we had with Rudolph this morning, where we talked about EMEA and APAC also, so the engagement across the world. So very interesting things. But if you've got any more questions for Cyre, please put the questions in the chat. We'll bring them on the screen and make sure that we can go and answer those. Just for me, so we have a number of partners, members today that are maybe on the call, not yet signed on. So if you were advising a partner or member today on how to approach 2026 with iMasons, what would you encourage them to lean into first? Where do they start?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first place they can start is by being a little bit introspective first and asking themselves, are they looking to be a passive participant where they're kind of listening into conversations and getting inspired and maybe taking some things back to their companies? Or if they're looking to be an active participant, that's really where we feel they'll get the most bang for their buck, we can say. Really contributing that expertise, supporting the programs, engaging in the conversations, and signing up for a position to help bring things to fruition is the best way that partners, companies, new members can really experience the impact that iMasons innovation or any of the other committees and groups can really offer to any company. It allows you to to really taste what's happening, to really keep your ear to the ground, put your boots on the ground and contribute to what's happening, and really take that tangible impact back into whatever you're doing, because now you've lived it and experienced it yourself. So I encourage that active participation.
It's I guess we'll start somewhere, and I must say I can't believe we're already nearing on 10 years of Emphasis on Masons this year.
Right.
I bet the celebrations will be glorious for this monumental time of that we've had within iMasons. I must say I started very inactive in the first years, just listening, learning, and so on. And be careful what you wish for. You may be ending up being involved far more than you wish to. So this is where the community takes you. We've had a quick question in the chat. I'll just bring it on. It's not related to innovations, but as a question is in the chat, I'll bring it up. So how does the sustainability committee interface with the climate accords? Is that something that you can talk about?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I think that's Michael. Hi, Michael. Nice to meet you. And it's a great question, and something that we're looking forward to further defining as we near our 10-year anniversary, like Romain said. Is there's some clarity that we want to make sure we share with the community around the committees versus the accords and the other broader initiatives. So I can say for now, when you look at the Climate Accord objectives and the working groups that have been established, it really gives you a deeper perspective as to what their objectives are, compared to this Sustainability Committee, where the efforts are a bit broader and kind of involving different groups. You may sometimes see similar members supporting the initiatives in a sustainability committee and the climate accord, but you'll see that the outcome that the two groups are trying to achieve are different and driven by different communities. So hopefully that kind of gets started on that question, and happy to dive in further a bit later.
Yeah, and it's I was reading the question earlier as it was just queuing it up. We know that we've got the power accords coming up, we've got the social accords coming up, so we've got a number of activities happening. Nothing is done in isolation with iMasons, if I may chime in. Even the innovation committee works in relation to all the other ones. We had actually Miranda, the director for the climate accords, come on this very session in December, just talking about the relationship between the two groups. So nice question, Michael, really appreciate it. And we've got another one from Anna right here. So what do you credit the strong sense of community at iMasons, and how has it grown over time?
I love this question. Hi, Anna. I would say that for me personally, when I first joined the community about 4 years ago, it was the ability to take off my Schneider Electric hat that I wore in the past and join something that was bigger than myself and bigger than my company. It made me really feel like I was inheriting or joining a new familia, I say all the time, a new family. And I think that's what keeps this community so strong and keeps it growing the way that it does, is that people find it's a sense of belonging, right? Whether it's sustainability, innovation, one of the other resource groups, mentoring or education and more, there is a home, which is why I call it a familia. There is a home for everybody here. And it creates that safe place for people to just belong to something bigger than themselves.
I would strongly encourage everybody to have a look at the events page, because if you really want to go and meet people or just discover what's going on, the events page will have pretty much everything that you need to go and engage either locally in one of your chapters or one of the online calls through any of the sessions that I put together. Cyre, thank you very much for coming on there. I certainly really enjoy our discussions like this and getting a sense of directions and where iMasons is going and the new leadership. And I look forward to having you more on those calls and actually really get your maybe 3 months impressions, your 6 months impressions of what's going on around you, and actually continue to get you involved in this committee as well.
Thanks, Romain. I love that idea and look forward to being able to support you and the team in doing so. And it was great to connect with everyone today.
Fantastic. Thank you, Cyre, and see you around soon.
See you soon. Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Good morning, Rudolph. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Romain. Sorry, a few technical issues this morning, but hopefully no more.
This is perfectly fine, and this is normal for everybody here listening to us this morning. We moved to this platform here to make our calls a bit more more streamable, so that we can record everything. But as you know, as with everything that's new, some of the things needs to be ironed out. Rudolph, thanks very much for coming today and talking about well, one of the better things, innovations, but also innovations in EMEA and APAC.
Well, thanks for inviting me. Obviously, we work very closely together. Probably see more of each other than we really want to, and I have no doubt 2026 will be no different, given the roadmap that you've put forward for EMEA, APAC, and the Americas this year. So I think we're going to have another exciting year, and really expand off what we did in 2025, which was also a great year.
So can you take me through and in your mind what innovations can bring to that part of the world? How does that work within the EMEA and APAC region?
Well, I think I see it as a global thing, not just EMEA. I think what we've seen in 2025 is huge growth within iMasons, and we have many more corporate partners in EMEA and APAC. We are sometimes seen as a kind of a US-centric organization, but that's not strictly true. If you look at our split across the regions, we're probably around 60% US and rest of the world 40%. So, with that in mind, it's really important that we reach out to all our partners globally, whether they're in EMEA, APAC, or the US. Certainly from my conversations in 2025, I'm seeing a lot more partners focusing both on innovation and the sustainability side. So innovation is seen as a primary business driver for growth, and I would like to think that we've kind of accommodated that, certainly over the last 2 years, in a lot of the initiatives that you've put together, and we're seeing a lot of interest from partners on the innovation stream.
So we know many of our partners actually subscribe to a number of different industry groups. What do you think makes iMasons different, maybe this year, than it did last year, and also in relations to other groups?
Well, I think, if you look at infrastructure masons, I think we're kind of I'm not sure if I'm still on the chat, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I am. Good.
Yeah,
okay.
No problem, yeah.
I just lost you, so that kind of made me a bit nervous. So I think iMasons, I think is a kind of a truly kind of agnostic kind of global entity covering, the three main business regions. I think this aligns really well with our corporate partners, most of which are multinational, and then all our members across the globe as well. We have over 60 partners, over 6,000 participants in iMasons, and we cross 130 countries. So I think we're seen as a truly kind of global professional association. Most of our partners will have some level of relationships with in-country data center associations. We are not there to compete with those associations. We work alongside those associations. We can gain important local insights from them. They can gain important global insights from us. And we will always look to, collaborate with them, as you've seen many times, across many, regional events. So I think we're kind of unique in terms of our kind of global footprint as a professional association in the digital infrastructure arena.
So this is nicely pointed out. One of the things that you said when we as part of your introduction is iMasons is a global organization, it's not US centric, and we've made a conscious effort to move about 40% of our calls to an APAC friendly time zone, knowing that we're trying to cover about 12 hours end to end of appropriate times for people to join the calls. From your perspective, how does this change the way partners in EMEA and APAC can participate, influence discussions and extract real value from innovation?
Well, I think we all have the challenge of time zones, and I'm no different because I work across the US, APAC, and EMEA. So it's very difficult sometimes to organise a single meeting. So I think that addresses that issue, right there. We can accommodate EMEA and APAC quite easily now with the two meetings. Most of our partners have a global footprint. They also have leadership spread across all the business regions. So it's really important for us to accommodate the key contributors. And of course, we always want the best people at the table. So I think that kind of puts a nice kind of tick in the box. And this year, obviously, we have you've put together a kind of a strategic roadmap where we will see many kind of innovation streams and dragons dens at industry events across all the business regions, with particular focus again to kind of grow the EMEA side. So we have many partner collaborations planned for 2026. I think it's going to be really exciting and another successful year.
We've already had a eventful and packed agenda in 2025. What did you hear from partners? What do you think that took away from the activities last year and maybe a hope to repeat this year?
Well, I think probably last year, obviously, we kind of launched this kind of Dragons Den Shark Tank initiative, and I think one of the important parts on the innovation side is us working with those small organizations, startups, who have some really kind of interesting innovative products and services, and I think the Dragons Den events have been very successful, and we're also seeing a lot of the larger event companies move to elevate startups at their events, which means that we can collaborate directly with them with their startup initiatives. So I think that's worked really well, and of course alongside the innovation platform itself and all the the podcasts that you've been doing back in 2025.
Thank you, Rudolf, for all those insights. I'd like to welcome any of the questions from our attendees today. So feel free to use the chat window and put any other questions for Rudolf in there. I guess from my perspective, what's the biggest wish for 2026? What's the what do you want to see happen? Like if you put yourself at the end of the year, what's the biggest accomplishments we can achieve all together?
Well, I think we just we can certainly carry on from where we left off in 2025. I think one of the things we're probably addressing better this year is making sure that we are reaching out to all the kind of global regions more effectively. So we have we're planning events, innovation streams in Europe, Middle East, potentially India, APAC, and obviously the Americas. So I think it's going to be a very packed agenda, but I think it's going to be an exciting agenda and get more and more interest in this initiative.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Rudolf. Look, I didn't see any comments come through the chat. If they come later, I'll bring you back on. But I wanted to thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy days to come and talk to us about innovations and EMEA and APAC regions. I know this is not the last one. We're going to see you around the committee. You've been very, very involved last year already. And I'm certainly looking forward to our collaboration again this year and actually continue to support the partners. Actually, just as we're talking, we've got Joshua that actually came up with the questions. Let me put it in there. So, any plans specific to APAC chapters? There will be an APAC summit, and any plans to collaborate with the likes of Big C and Green Grid or CPF, the APAC counterparts.
So we are planning to attend Data Center World at Singapore in October. So that is just being planned at the moment. So we hope to put forward an innovation session at probably one of the biggest events in APAC in the calendar. As well as other events for our kind of corporate partners and advisory councils. So that's a work in progress, but it's firmly on the roadmap for October.
Okay, fantastic. Well, as you can see, put your questions in the chat, and we'll go through them as they come through. Rudolf, thank you very much. If you have the time to stay around, and if there is any more questions, I'd like to bring you back in as usual.
I won't. I won't be going anywhere. Don't worry. And I hope the technology continues to work.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks very much, Rudolf, and we'll see you a bit later.
Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure to have Cyre with us on the call and actually unpack her vision and understanding of iMasons stepping into this new role for her. And I'm pretty sure we'll have her back in one of the upcoming series. I just wanted to bring back the presentation. So now that we've got a good sense of what's changed, the 12-month calendar and the directions, I'd love to take you a little bit further into what we've planned for you. So we've got lined up 3 working groups. When we look at the working groups, they're really a unit that has got an objectives and some outputs, and we've lined up really 3, in my opinion, well-defined groups that you may or may not define as something that you want to get involved in, but we'll see. And so those slides here are just a summary of what those groups are. There is more details. We've got charters ready for you and ways to get involved, and we'll go through that in a second. And the first and not first of the groups are going to be around leadership. We need stewards. We need people that have a really good understanding of where innovation is going, needs to go, what problems we're trying to fix. And this is what that leadership team is about. The leadership team is really interested with the resources that iMasons put at the disposal of the committee to make sure that the resources are well used and that we're actually driving relevant activities for every member. So if you're a senior leader, if you fancy having a take on what the innovation committee should be doing and how it evolves over time and the sort of topics that we should be discussing, that then feeds into the other activities that we do, then by all means, this is probably the right group for you. That said, towards the back end of last year, we had discussions with a number of partners and different members around one key topic that keeps coming back. And that topic is the alignment of AI data centers to the grid. And so what we've decided to do this year is to create a new working group that is actually looking at the actual alignment between those AI data centers that have got certain characteristics to how they utilize one of the resources that they absolutely need to function, which is coming from the energy from the grid. And so what we're going to do in this is we're going to unpack the different issues or the different things that needs to be looked at and that needs to be considered when a new AI data centers, especially at scale, is actually implemented and connected to the grid. We'll look at from an innovation perspective, what sort of solutions can we put in front of this? And so all of that will become different maybe frameworks or documents that we put at people's disposal. We'll have different calls and different panels to explain what the group is actually doing. And so if you feel very involved in this sort of problems and you would like to have your input taken on, then by all means join the AI to Grid group. Last but not least, we talked a lot about startups, innovators, and the people actually making it happen and that are trying to change the way the data centers are either being built, constructed, or designed, and so on and so on. And so we've actually taken some of the activities that the leadership group used to do, and we moved it into the innovation incubator. And so part of the innovation incubator is that you are actually entrusted with two really, really critical pieces that we've launched last year. One we talked about was the Dragon's Den series. The Dragon's Dens, for those of you who don't know, are in-presence pitch competitions that we do where the audience asks the questions and the audience decide who actually gets the investment. So there were no real investments as iMasons. We're not actually suited for doing this sort of things, but we lend you a hand and help you decide which companies through fake investments are actually worthy of the time. And so that's the first one. The second one is we launched a startup incubator last year. And so the group really is there to listen to innovators, come and pitch what they're actually doing, decide if we need to integrate them within the data center industry. And then when they are onboarded, we help them with different types of visibility and connections with the rest of the community. And so that group is there to drive those two principal objectives. And if you're really keen on knowing what innovators, startups, and so on are doing, those are really, this group in particular is really interesting, as you'll get to see a lot of examples in different areas of the data center industry. So I understand that there isn't much on the slides you're explaining. What you'll see is that once I share with you how to get engaged, you'll get access to not just those groups again, like explain, but also the charters, which explain in details the expectations of the group, what we're going to do, when we're going to meet, and how often, and what those sessions are going to be like, so that you can really get an understanding of what you actually want to do. And by all means, if you've got any questions, if I've missed anything, if you would like to ask any questions, just carry on putting them in the chat, and I'll just bring them on the screen. So further to this, I wanted to bring you the next 2 months, and this is a slide that we will be updating every month. That literally shows you not just the innovation committee, but the rest of iMasons' key meetings and sessions. You can already see that we'll start February 2nd with a leadership call. We've got a couple of working groups on the 4th and the 11th for the AI to Grid and the incubator. We've got a first open call where you're not asked to do anything, but just listen to what's going on. We've got to meet the startups on February 3rd. These type of calls are there for our startups to come and explain what they do and their thought leadership behind it, and for you to go and ask all the questions. So that should be an interesting one. We've got 2 startups lined up for this one. one on harvesting water from air for reusing recycled heat from data centers, and we've got another one on supercapacitors. Both of them are going to come and explain what they do, so that you can go and ask questions. And you can see the meetings continues, and this is basically a more detailed view of the slide you've seen earlier. You can see February, March, you've got more iMasons general sessions. You've got an advisory council on February 26th. There is IM Women meetings. You've got a local chapter for Cascadia. So all of that is actually, and I know Asa is actually posting in the chat. So the last message gives you the link straight to the event page when you can go and sign up to all of those. Okay. So this is it. This is the last slide. We scheduled for an hour, but we thought, look, we're not going to give you everything at one go. However, this is the most important one. The engagement hub that you see here is a little token that enables you to actually go and figure out how you want to get engaged. You've heard it from Cyre before. You don't need to be a participant and engage participants straight away, but you can just come and see certain things, read certain outputs that we're doing. And so this is going to enable you to figure out how do you want to get engaged, but also once you open this and you choose how you want to get engaged, it gives you the next steps as well, which is where do you go? How do you receive the meeting invites for the working groups? How do you go and listen to the podcast, and where is it registered, and so on? So all of that is actually in the engagement hub. As we said, you've got multiple ways to get engaged this year. You can simply come and discover. You can sign up to open meetings. You can just come and listen and see what people have got to say. You can join a working group. That's going to be a bit more involved. We're not asking you to work, but to have inputs into the different topics. And so that should be quite interesting. Again, choose the working group or the working groups that you feel more attached to, and we'll be sure to actually have you have a good time in those and actually meet other keen people. We've got a thought leadership track that is coming up, and as you know, for thought leadership we need speakers, so we've opened up the ability for you to apply to actually come and share your own thought leaderships if you wish to do so. And so again, through the engagement hub, if you select thought leadership, then you'll be able to go and apply for coming and speaking at one of the 6 events that we've lined up this year, where you'll be given a 10-minute slot to actually go and present on thought leadership, and then followed by a Q&A of 30 minutes after the 3 presentations have gone through. If you are a startup or know startups, the Startup Incubator has got an onboarding form as well. Again, this is the start of the journey to then be reviewed and accepted and then be supported by iMasons. It's a little bit more involved, as you can imagine, on this one, as we want to understand who you are, what you do, and what you would want out of the Startup Incubator that we're running. But again, the engagement hub will enable you to drive you in the right directions on there. The last one is going to be the pitch competitions. We've lined up so three venues already. There is another 2 that we're trying to finalize towards the end of the year. So again, if you've got an innovations that you would want to pitch during one of the events, by all means, apply directly for the pitch competitions through the same link. We will be sharing the link afterwards. So if you've got access to Forge, the Mobilize platform, we'll put the link on there. I'm pretty sure you will be able to find it there. If not, reach out directly to me at innovation@imasons.org, and then we will be able to send you all information you need. As usual, this is a community. This is not just a service that we're doing. We're building a group, we're building things, and not everything will fit into what you might want to do. If you've got feedback, if you want to get engaged, if you're looking for certain things, just come to us. either innovations@imasons.org or through the Forge platform or LinkedIn, or my name is on there. You can't miss it. You'll be able to find me regardless of where I go. So just reach out if you want to find a way to engage, or if you've got questions. All of this is open to all of our members with no distinctions. So please use it. It is there for you to use. On that note, this is it. This is the last slide for today. I've been speaking more than enough, but so I will leave you on this. Scan the QR code. If not, we'll send the link a little bit later, and we'll look forward absolutely to have you on any of the activities that we've planned for this year. Thank you again, and we'll see you all around very soon. Take care.